Good morning. It's a lovely Saturday morning here at the farm. I actually have a wedding that I have to go do some shooting and stuff for that we're doing at Sage this afternoon. But I decided to pop by the farm this morning to show you guys around, let you see what we've been up to. The mosquitoes have found us. I can feel them flying all around my head. We've been very busy getting things planted, getting things done around the farm, but I haven't had a chance to film anything. So I thought I would just take you guys around today to show you what we've been up to and show off some of the things that I'm really excited about right now. So I'm here in the perennial patch. We've still been really busy weeding everything and then planting a whole bunch of stuff. So the first thing that I've been planting, this is our Foxglove row, and we have lots of beautiful Foxglove that did well last year. So you can see the big bushy plants that have come back from last year. They're looking awesome. But then we've got some holes that weren't filled because they didn't take off last year. So I've gone through and planted a whole bunch of new varieties of Foxglove in here that are doing really, really well. So I started all of these guys from seed. This whole row was started by seed either 2 years ago or last year or this season. So this is filling out really, really nicely. Then in this row, we had Sweet William planted here last year. It's technically hardy to zone 6 and we're a zone 5B here. So I was kind of hoping that they would come back, but they did not. I think I've seen a couple of little babes trying to push their way up, but I don't think most of them made it. So I have planted out some, oh gosh, the name is escaping me now. A Stilby, thank you, brain. So these guys, I actually bought seedlings. So we've got a variety that's like a purple leaf with a pink flower, and then this green leaf with a white flower Stilby. They're planted a little close together because for some reason I thought this row was 12-inch holes, but it's actually 9-inch holes. So once they're established, I'll probably have to move them next year to spread them out a bit, but they're in the ground now. They're rooting in. Most of them are looking pretty happy, so I'm gonna let them go. And then this row is our echinacea. So over here we've got the echinacea that I planted out last year. They were moved from the annual patch that we had started our first year. And the ones that were really well established, we moved them here, not in fabric. And this is what happens when we don't plant in fabric here. There's just so much grass seed in the soil. Like, this is a hay field most of the year, so it produces a lot of grass seed. So when we don't plant in fabric, this is what happens. You can't keep up with the grass, and it is thick and dense. So there are echinacea plants in here. You can see them popping up through the grass. But then over here, we were able to keep up with it a little bit better because there wasn't grass at the beginning of the year, and we were able to weed a little bit better. So we have to try to figure this out. This is going to have to be dug up and mulched in really, really well. But then what else we've planted over here in with the echinacea is some echinacea. So that's what these guys are here. This is Summerina Summer Glow. And the echinacea is actually a mix of echinacea and rudbeckia. So it's a crossbreed plant. It's really, really new. And we've got about 60 or so plants in here mixed with our echinacea. I'm really excited for these guys. So over here is our tulip patch. Now we've harvested quite a bit of our tulips. We actually have these purple ones that were supposed to be Silk Road, and that's not what these are. I don't know what variety these are. They're very short and they're a very purpley pink sort of tone. So I'm a little bummed about them. They actually worked out because the wedding we have actually this weekend, this color worked perfectly for that. So we were actually able to throw in some extra flowers for that wedding, and they worked, but it's not what we wanted. We've got Copper Image over here that's starting to get some color on it. So pretty. We dug up all of our yellow tulips. I'm forgetting what they were called. It was a really soft buttery yellow. They were so pretty. Over here, I believe that we've got Mount Tacoma. That's really beautiful. Starting to get some nice white color on them. They'll be ready to harvest very soon. And then over here we had Mondial. And perhaps I have those backwards. We might have had, this might be Mondial and this might have been Mount Tacoma. We had a couple of white varieties. These guys came up really fast. They're very pretty. We have a couple of little buds left, but we've pretty much harvested all of it. And then next to the tulip patch is the white phlox. It's David's phlox that we planted out last year, and they are coming back so strong, and they look beautiful. I'm so excited for all the blooms we're going to get from these guys this year. Now we're only in the second week of May, so it's too early to really start thinking about planting out here just yet, and we've had a lot of rain too, so it's actually just too wet to even try to till any of this. So we're really still focusing on getting perennials in the ground, getting the ground prepared and getting ready for when we can plant those annuals out. Now we've got all of our daffodils are now in bloom. So we've got the beautiful white lion that looks gorgeous. And then over here we've got Delphinium, because the rain we've had is a little wet over here. And then we got, oh wait, this one's not Delphinium. This one is, oh gosh, what's this guy called? Cum laude. The Delphinium is actually over here, so that's this guy. So it looks, shape-wise, it's a lot like the white lion, but it's got like that peachy center instead of the yellow. So it's very pretty. This is just coming into bloom. So we had the cum laudes come up first, and then the white lion, and now finally the Delphinium is coming up. And you can see all of the irises that are coming up, putting on new growth. We really have to get it in here and get the grass out, and then mulch as much as we can around the irises so that we can try to keep that grass under control this year. So the shrub patch is starting to come to life. The spirea right here looks amazing. We do have one plant that we sort of lost down here. I'm not sure why. But everybody seems to have done well, and this guy, it's got a couple of little green leaves on it, but the rest of it looks kind of dead, and obviously it has to be weeded as well. But these guys are looking great. We've got little buds forming up on them. Get in there, you can see like the little pink buds starting, and those are going to turn white very soon. So those are looking really great. This lilac right here is starting to get lots of flowering buds happening. And I just learned from Florette this past week that you should actually harvest every single bloom on your lilac plant when they come up. So this is not like most plants where you're supposed to leave a third or so of the plant every year. You shouldn't harvest more than 2/3. But for the lilacs, you should actually harvest every single flower, as it turns out. I don't know if she means like at this stage though, where every flower also means pretty much every piece of green that's on the plant, but as it gets older and more mature, for sure. There's a lot of weeding that has to be done in this patch. The hope is that eventually all the shrubs get big enough that they crowd out all of the weeds, so there won't be much weeding happening. But for now, there's a lot of grass that is quite vigorous, so we have to come through and weed. This is probably going to be several days of work for me to get in here, so I've been putting it off. But I can't put it off too much longer because it's just going to keep getting worse. The greenhouse is looking great. We had quite a bit of wind the last week or so, and this guy hasn't budged. So that's super encouraging. You can kind of see through that we've still got 2x4s in there, and we do have some plants sitting in the ground. I'll take you in so you can have a look. Okay. So over here, we've got some stock and some snapdragon seedlings. I'm very proud of myself. This is the first year I've grown these guys from seed. They've all done so well. And I'm actually going to have to plant these guys out soon. So I'm going to make a little patch up by the garden shed behind the daffodils. And I think I'm going to plant some of them out there because they actually prefer to be planted before it gets too warm. And this field where I was planning on planting them just isn't going to be ready. So we're going to bring some compost up here behind the daffodils. We're going to make a couple more rows and we're going to plant those guys over here. Now on the other side of the greenhouse, we have these kiwi plants that my friend Beth gave me. She's been trying to get me to take these off her hands for a couple of years now. I promised to adopt them. They were in her backyard and she just didn't have space for them anymore. They're quite mature. I think she's had them for at least 4 years, maybe even longer. So they should be at a point where they're producing fruit, but she just didn't have room for them. And I kept putting it off in terms of taking them from her. So now I felt like I couldn't put it off anymore. When she asked me this year, I said, okay, I'm going to take them, but I have to find a home for them. So I'm not quite sure where on the property I want to put them just yet. And they are going to need some sort of trellis system. So we need something that's kind of out of the way. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But the goal is to get these guys in the ground at some point this week. We have a delivery of mulch and a delivery of topsoil that came in this past week as well. Got some topsoil to try to fill in some of the holes that we made last year when we were digging up for the driveway and moving dirt around and stuff. You can see how much it's rained in this little field behind me. It's very wet. But the thing I'm really excited about is this little project behind me. I'll give you a closer look. So this is so silly because it's got nothing to do with the cut flower production that we're, here for. That's the whole reason that this farm exists. But at the end of the driveway here, like this is our little parking area, we have the boxwood on one side, and I really just wanted to have some sort of garden space over here on the other side. And I knew that I wanted a couple of trees in here to kind of fill in for shade. And I wanted it to be bordered by rocks because I don't want to be dealing with grass coming into the driveway space. So Jay and I started working on this last week, and let me show you kind of what we've done. So the first thing we have in here is this beautiful blue juniper tree. It is so pretty. It's got these gorgeous silvery green leaves. It's gorgeous. And when I saw it at the garden center, I just had to have it. This was actually a birthday present from my mom. She got me a gift card for Richie's. And this is what I got with that gift card. So this is a beautiful present from mom. Oops, just tripping over rocks here, don't mind me. So I got this guy in the ground, so pretty. And then over here, what I thought I had planted was a trio of birch, but I have been corrected by my father. Turns out this is actually poplar. So we've actually got poplar growing in kind of like in this side area here. I don't know if you guys can see with the shade. Quite shady. We've just got all this poplar growing in kind of the ditch. There's a gigantic poplar tree there. So it must drop just a bunch of seeds and they've all just kind of growing along the edge. And I think they're so pretty. And I thought they were birch. So I said, hey, I want to dig up some of those guys. And then they can be a really nice shady element in my little garden that I'm doing at the end of the driveway. And even though they are not birch and they are a weed tree, as my father calls them, I still think they're so pretty. So I've done a little cluster of 3 there, and I think they're going to be beautiful once they get big. They're going to provide a lot of shade. And then around here, we're starting with our little rock wall. So I've got just some weed barrier down in the grass right at the edge of the driveway. I've started putting rocks. We ran out of rocks, so that's why this border is very small right now. It's going to have to be a lot larger. And then we're going to put some cardboard down over the grass, and then some compost, and then some mulch to fill this all in. And then we're going to fill this in with like some tulips, and then a few other perennial plants that we can just kind of leave it and have it do its thing. And I almost forgot, one of our biggest projects this past week is we planted about 80 trees and shrubs around the property to try to create some more windbreaks. That was a huge undertaking. We've planted primarily elderberry and tamarack trees, which are both deciduous trees, so they're going to lose their leaves in the winter. So maybe not the best idea for windbreaks. We're probably going to have to get some non-deciduous trees, some conifers in here. The tamarack is a conifer, but I didn't realize it lost its needles in the winter whenever I first ordered them. But we got these from South Nation Conservation. They were very, very inexpensive when you order in bulk, so we got a lot of them. And I think they're still going to do a lot for this area. They also really like the type of soil that we have here, so I think they're going to do really, really well. And they're going to be so pretty in the fall because they turn like a really beautiful yellow gold color. So I'm going to show you kind of what we've planted, what we've done so far with those. So the tamaracks are all on this side of this little patch of mowed grass here. They're really tricky to see because they don't yet have leaves on them, but you can see Jason's gone and mulched around these guys. So they are in here if you look for the little patches of black mulch. Very tiny. But they look really good. They look really, really happy. And then on this side, we've added a few more lilacs, some Mustang cherry. Ooh, I have to show you the Mustang cherry because it looks amazing right now. These are all potted plants that we kept up by the shed over the winter. We wrapped them up in landscape fabric, covered them in dried grass, and just hoped that they would be sheltered enough to survive, and they did. This is a little olive tree. It's got these beautiful silvery leaves. So, so pretty. And these produce an edible olive. And then, where's this little Mustang cherry tree? I gotta show you. Right over here. So this guy was not at all flowering when we planted it this past week. Look at it go now. It's so pretty. And they've got some elderberry planted in these little holes here. So you can see just these little sticks, they were just bare roots, but they've already got some greenery on them. Gosh, so hard to see. They've got little shoots coming up. So the elderberry also produces edible fruit. Got a little lilac here that's going wonky. But all this should really fill in nicely and provide us with that hedge that we need on this side. And we'll have a path and then our tamaracks over here. So this afternoon after the wedding, I do have to pot up some delphiniums and some foxglove into larger trays. So I'm going to do that. I'll share a video of that with you guys while I work on that guy. And I'll probably be doing a video for the wedding that we're doing over on the Sage account. So if you're interested in seeing what we do there, go have a look. Hello. So wedding has been installed and I am now back at the farm. Papa Heuston, my dad is back there mowing the lawn. See him that way, that way, that way. Oop. I can never get this whole finger thing right. So what I'm doing now is I've got a whole bunch of Delphinium and Foxglove seedlings that are in 288 cell trays, and I'm going to pot them up to 72 cell trays. So that's my goal for this afternoon before I call it a day. So I thought I would take you guys along while I get that job done. filled up some trays. So this 288 cell tray is going to fill 4 of the 72 cell trays. Just so you guys can see the difference between a 72 cell. So this is the size of 72, and I'll pull out these guys for you. And here's the size of these 288. So you can see it's quite a bit of a difference in terms of space for those roots to grow. So I'm going to pot these guys up so they have more room. All right, I'm going to get to that now. So it's actually a new day here. It's Mother's Day, so I have some assistance from my kiddos. I finished up early after transplanting the one tray yesterday. It took me longer than I expected. So that one tray took me to dinner time, and then I had to go home. So I'm going to finish up replanting the other 4 trays today. I've got my kids here to help me out, and then that'll be it for today's video. the girls and I have gone through and we've potted up all of the, what do we have? We had Delphiniums and we had Foxglove. So I'm going to show you what we did in here. It's all looking nice. Everything's up on tables or under the table, making sure it's getting just enough sun. So I put up this shade cloth here just because the afternoon sun here can be pretty harsh. So just to give them a little bit of a break in the afternoon. I've got this Foxglove here. What do we have? We have Camelot Mix. So these guys are first year blooming digitalis Foxglove. So those guys are going to be all different colors of pinks and creams and peaches. I think there's like a purpley pink kind of color in there as well, and a white in the Camelot Mix. We've got some Delphiniums down here. I cannot see which variety this one is, but I know that we have a fountain mix, a magic fountain mix. We have a white magic fountain, and then a purple with dark bee, which I think might be this one. No, this is the pure white here. We've got Delphinium here. We've got another Foxglove variety over here that's all been potted up. This is also Camelot, I believe, and this is white. Let me see. Oh, the tray's over here. Yeah, so Camelot white, that's these guys. I'm just gonna move this tray over so it stays with its variety, because I don't want to forget what's what. Let's see, I'm just gonna move this up here. This is really challenging to do with one hand. I can do it, I believe myself. There we go, look at that. Okay, boop, on, perfect. We still got our stock and our Snapdragon that's doing well in here. And then under here we've got the rest of our Delphiniums. These guys, who's this? So this is the dark blue with dark bee. Digitalis, not digitalis, the Delphinium. So that's it. Everything is loaded up on the tables as much as we could. I might actually move those guys up now that I have space. And then that's going to do it for today. Thanks so much for tuning in, you guys. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there, and I will see you in the next video.